Hey! Hi!
I'm usually like, we're trying to figure it out, and we thought that we could maybe record our life crisis and put it on the internet. I guess disclaimer now.
Take this as like a drive-by. We're saying, hey,
Yeah. Yeah.
you can wave to someone,
Yeah.
and they don't have to wave back
No.
because you're driving
No.
by.
Exactly.
Or they can give you like finger guns and like, you know.
Hi.
Hey. So
We are architecture students, college students.
college students.
We are roommates also.
roommates also.
There's this thing in quantum physics. I don't know if that's true. I guess disclaimer now. Oh, fuck me. I feel like anything I can say will sound dumb.
Yeah, I know.
Q crisis.
I guess we just have to accept the fact that there are elderly people walking by, watching us. lay
Thinking
on-
we're recording
Probably.
a pornography video.
Yeah, laying on a pig table in our bathing suits under a shared blanket with a microphone
Yeah.
and
In Michigan.
a
In March. Yeah, I think we have to accept that this is gonna be bad.
yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I feel like anyone that starts anything is bad, you know? But Q disclaimer. Maybe that's the name of our podcast instead. Q disclaimer.
Oh my god. That's really funny. No, it makes me think that like everything is anything and we just put names to it. But like the name doesn't mean anything. Like paint,
That's true.
dance.
That's true.
Like it's
Yeah.
I don't know, that sounds like crazy and stupid, but I think
No, it doesn't.
in a way, because everything is connected and related, and we're doing things because of other things, so it's just one big like ball of yarn, but someone didn't wrap it perfectly, and it's like when you do as a little, I don't know, I say as a little kid because I did as a little kid, but I don't think everyone does this. Just like rolling it up on your fingers, but you mess up, it's not a perfect ball, and it's all kind of maybe even like tangled. Like that's what it feels like life is. It's just like it's all connected,
Yeah.
so it's one thing.
Yeah.
And like maybe we name like, oh, there's a knot in it, and that knot is what dance is, and then the other loop over there is what music is, or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
agree. I think
And then there's just a cat constantly playing with it.
Yeah. Sometimes it pees on it a little bit. I think that comes with our need to like categorize stuff as human. I think it's a normal. When I say I think, is because I think I've heard that somewhere from someone legit. Disclaimer. But it's like an instinct to try to organize like the things that we see in categories to be able to understand and make quick judgments or whatever about things. And I think that's like obviously like helpful, but also it can be, I think, restricting in how we view. Like I think it's helpful. It's good to have a notion of, when you walk into a room and you can make quick assumptions about people, not to like judge them, but just to have an idea of who you're dealing with and how to react and how to navigate that space. So I think that's helpful, but also you can't hold yourself to those categories either, or others, or anything
Yeah.
for that matter, like nothing, because it can all be blended together in your little knit ball.
Yeah. Life is a little knit ball.
It's a little knit ball that gets peed on a little
It
bit.
sounds like little knit ball.
Life is a little nipple.
Oh my god.
It's a good start for a bad start,
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it should be called. It's a good start for a bad start.
Yeah.
The first
Bad
episode.
start or a bad start for a good start. A good start for a bad start.
Good start for a bad start.
A bad start for a good start.
Yeah.
Or is that what you said?
Like,
And
it's a
then-
good start for a bad start of podcasting.
Yes. Yeah, I agree.
I was just thinking, while being here, on this cottage trip of a few days or whatever, like how not looking at time and like even like random things, like just laying on the couch, or like when your grandmother was talking or whatever, like things, and I feel the constant voice in my head of like, you should be doing something, or like, is that the best, like even for fucking vacation,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, we should be swimming right now, we should be enjoying the weather right now, we should be taking a walk right now, we should be painting right now, we should be playing a train game right now. And like, these are all things that are supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
They're not supposed to be on a fucking schedule. And it's
Yeah.
like ingrained in my brain from
Yeah.
like school
Mhm.
and like just living in the world
Yeah.
in a city.
Yeah.
And that's it's fucked up.
It is.
It's crazy because I feel like wanting to have a good time and be efficient with your time makes you have a bad time and not be efficient with your time,
Yeah.
therefore, because
Yeah.
you're just focused all the time about having a good time instead of just having one. Just
Yeah.
shut up.
Yeah. Because there's so many, like, if you're planning it, there's so many, there's infinite opportunities for it to go wrong because there's only one way
Yeah.
for it to go right. Where if you don't have any sort of plan, like, there is no right or wrong. It's just a time. It's just,
Yeah.
it's just what it is.
I think that's like a whole, like, I think generally speaking, when I say we, I mean
me and my,
me and my brain. Like, we're quick to want to see things black or white, which is a whole thing we've talked about before. But like, black or white, right or wrong.
Yeah.
Type of thing. And I feel like because there's like the social pressure to do the right thing, like go to college after high school and graduate, like whatever, the basic big shit. But I feel like the more that we sink into that concept, the more that we also apply it to the small things, like a fucking hour at the cottage should be spent the right way.
Yeah. Exactly, because our life is just on like a timeline. Like, if we have this amount of time to not do anything, so how do we make sure we get a relaxation from this piece of our lives and that piece of our lives and this piece of our lives, and like jam it into one thing where then we're just making it like a new task almost, by like creating, like, maybe at a certain point in your life you need a break from school and you need to sleep, or maybe another time you need a break from like social interaction, you just want to read, and then I don't know, drawing,
Yeah.
so you want to play a game that's not so technical or something that and like then we come here and they're like, okay, I need to sleep, I need to read, I need to play this game.
Yeah.
And it's like we just create like these opposites that happen in our everyday lives of like
Yeah.
this or that, and then we take all the that's
Yeah.
and sabotage any of the other time. That,
That's
like,
true.
come together.
That's true. And we, instead of like, taking time in our daily life to go for a walk, draw, read, play the little train, whatever,
Yeah.
instead of making pockets for that in our life so that we don't need an escape as often,
Yeah.
we like hyper contrast the two.
Yeah.
You know?
And then and then that's what makes it like so, when you go back, you just crave it, and it makes it like a good bad situation where like life bad, rest break good.
Yeah.
Or-
Yeah.
Or like but they intermingle because you're constantly wanting the other while you're doing each of them. Like when you're working or whatever, like not on a break,
Yeah.
you just want a break, but when you're on break, you're making yourself think that you need to do all these things, like
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
So,
You
yeah.
schedule your free time like a
Yeah.
fucking...
Like I don't go for a walk every day. If it's a nice day, I'm like,
Yeah.
nice, it's a nice day outside.
Yeah.
And then we just
Yeah.
walk right up the stairs in the apartment instead of, and
Yeah.
then here it's like, over here we should go for a walk.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what's the difference?
Yeah.
Of, like,
But then that's a whole other balance, I feel like, to, the shoulds
Yeah.
is something I'm struggling a lot with right now. Like, I should go for a walk, or like whatever. Like, I feel like there's certain environments and certain people that you surround yourself with, and not to like put all the blame on everything exterior. Like, there's definitely blame to take on yourself, but generally, like, I think there's also like your environment affects you in a way that makes you want to do certain things or not.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, like going to the gym, eating healthy, reading, painting, whatever that you like doing and that you feel is good for you, I think there's certain environments that kind of promote that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not promote it, but encourage it out of you. Whereas, like, if I was living with like 3 depressed people gaming in the basement all the time, eating junk food, I probably wouldn't be that motivated to go to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like, the other side of that is like, well, sometimes I have the best environments and I have the motivation, but I just don't fucking feel like it. And I know I should read before bed or like go to the gym or whatever, but like, maybe I don't fucking feel like it right now. And then what's the point of doing something that's supposed to make you feel better if then it just becomes a work task?
Right.
I feel like we've de-wired ourselves to like go with how we feel and whatever. And I'm aware that's a very privileged thing to be doing. Like, just go with what you feel and just fucking like, whoa, who needs like work or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I think maybe there's a balance a little bit in doing what you should be doing and do what you feel and listen to what you need right now.
Mm-hmm.
And to like your intuition and whatever.
Yeah. I feel like that's where people get lost a lot of the times too, because then it feels like it's like one thing or the other. Like, a lot of younger people, I feel like, are taking the time to realize the things that they need to work on.
Yeah.
And in some ways it can be like abused, but I think it's, even if it's not, that's like the barrier with people that don't see things like that. Like, they see.
What do you mean?
People, I think, that are like, no, you need to work, and then you have to earn your break. And then people that see that they need, like, understand themselves enough to take time out of their daily lives to appreciate and like respect themselves. It's seen as like lazy if you do that, if you take time for yourself. But then, like, the other way is you're breaking your arm and not going to the doctor, kind of thing. Like, living your life in a way that, like, where you work just to have this broken balance between your life and that. But you're not even accepting that it's broken, and like, you believe that it's like you're walking around with a broken arm telling everyone else that they should break their arm.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
And like, that goes for so many other things too, ingrained in the way we all live.
Yeah, the amount of people that hate themselves, and I'm strong judgment there, but that I feel they might hate themselves or like be miserable.
But I feel like, oh my god. No, I know what you mean.
that feel the need to tell me what I should be doing. And I feel like the people that are the most content and at peace with themselves, like, and I'm not talking about successful people, like, I'm talking about like people that are genuinely just happy, like, not even happy, content, like at peace. Like, they don't have fancy things, they don't have fancy cars, they don't have fancy anything, they're just like content. I don't feel any pressure from these types of people, generally speaking, in my personal experience, to like, they don't tell me what to do, or like, you should be doing this or that. And I feel like from people that feel miserable, it's the break your arm.
Yeah.
Go and break your arm so you can feel my pain and you can feel as miserable as I am.
Yeah.
And I feel like that mentality only comes from being miserable. Like, I've definitely been in positions where I've wanted bad things for other people almost.
Yeah.
So that I could feel better about myself. And that's because you're in a dark, at least to me, it's when I'm in a darker like mindset.
Yeah. Yeah. But it feels like it's almost like so deep too that it's like people don't even know that they're wishing bad things on other people because they think it's good. So they're like, no, I'm wishing the best for them because that's exactly what I'm doing and what I'm doing is good, you know.
Quote unquote. They just follow
Yeah.
what the social pressure is to be
Yeah.
good or whatever.
Yeah. And then there's like 100 different variations and mixes of people like who think, you know what I mean, think that in a tiny different way.
Yeah.
It's not like it's black or white and people that think like that or don't, you know what
No,
I mean?
no.
It's so like,
No. Vast.
yeah.
Yeah, and varied. And it's crazy because usually the people I hear that from the most are the people that I least want to live their lives. And the people that I want them to tell me what I should do to be that at peace and content and like just authentic and genuine and wholesome. They're the people that will never tell me
Yeah,
how to do it because
Yeah.
I feel like they understand that it's like it's a process that you figure out each and like
yeah.
every one of us. It's nobody can tell you.
Yeah, no.
It's within you. That sounds corny, but it's true. It's within you.
It reminds me of Star Wars.
Yeah, it's the force.
Yeah.
It's the force within us.
Listen us.
You gotta listen to your force.
Yeah, your force. Oh my god. I don't know, and it's so hard to like even try to talk about those things because that's where things get divided, like we're saying, like categorized, because that's
Yeah.
people base their like their beliefs off of, well, like all those things getting shoved into a box, but they're all mismatched and nothing deserves to be so boxed in, and that's where people get political and all the
Yeah.
other sort of what's the word even, like controversial, that's the
Yeah.
word.
Yeah.
All these controversial topics, it's just because like things have been like stuffed into boxes. It's like really like what's why why is it
It's a
doesn't even-
nipple. As we're doing that, like I'm categorizing people as well by all the people that feel miserable and all the people that
Yeah.
feel content. Like
right.
it's, I think it's, you can't escape it
Yeah.
entirely, but I think it's more the tension between the two.
Yeah.
Like maybe realizing that it's not so black and white all the time, and there's so much nuance in everything and everyone.
Mhm.
And it to see, because it's so much easier to have a straightforward answer, like yes, no, white
Mhm.
or black or whatever.
Mhm.
It's so much easier to just know, but I think reality for me is like I don't know
Mhm.
any of it. I like, you don't know,
Mhm.
and so I think that's scary
Mhm.
to not know
Yeah.
until you learn to accept it,
Yeah.
which I'm not saying I have done.
Yeah.
I'm trying,
Yeah.
but because nobody knows, and it's
No.
all uncertain, and it's all,
Yeah.
so even if you do everything that's good, everything that's right on paper, and blah 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 blah,
Like, does this make like if I'm actually so excited to see if this makes sense to other people.
yeah,
Because I feel like
me
we
too.
talk about it and like I feel like I feel where your words and like thoughts are going,
Yeah,
and then we just laugh at them because it's so much of like I don't even know how to explain it. So I'm wondering is this just like are we just weird, or is this like
yeah,
can other people see some things like this too? And not that what we're saying is right at all,
no,
but it's just I
God,
think
no.
it's more of like a it's like a niche, or just not niche, but like it's just a different way of thinking. That is, I feel like
Yeah.
a smaller, not smaller. I don't know how. Now I'm categorizing our thoughts.
Now we're
Like,
hyper aware of everything we're saying.
Yeah. Oh, I don't even know. I guess just like because I could see a lot of people, or I guess maybe this has just come from school and presenting and
Yeah.
hearing feedback from other people, and a lot of times them saying, "Oh, I had no idea what they were saying. I couldn't understand them, or I couldn't understand you. I have no idea what your project is
Yeah,
about."
yeah.
And so, in that context, I have seen where my thoughts and words are not understood, or not even like comprehended, or like even tried to break down.
Yeah.
So I just wonder if is it me?
Yeah.
Or is this like I mean, I definitely am not expressing them the right way, so I definitely know it is confusing. because I confuse myself often.
Me too.
But
I think that's a whole point, though.
yeah, like, are people gonna? Do people care enough? They don't. I don't think people do, because
I don't
I
think
can
people
say that
do.
people don't care enough to, hold their beliefs loose enough
Yeah.
to even listen to something that's not what they know.
Well, that's something that I like question often. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's why we have such great conversations too, and decided to do this podcasting thing. Like, sorry, I got distracted by saying podcasting thing.
I was gonna make fun of you, but I was like, no, I need to let this go. Oh, not good.
Podcast thing.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we can talk about these things, and I don't feel like you take anything personally that I approach to you, or I feel like the way that you approach what I'm telling you is always so open-minded and like accepting and understanding, and I haven't rarely ever met anyone like that, and so I
Yeah.
wonder if that's from like my personal experience of like growing up in a smaller town, and like now we're like in America, and I like I haven't met enough people, or is it just that really it is, like you were saying, maybe less of a common thing? Are we narcissists
Right,
to think
right.
that?
Right.
Yeah,
No,
because I feel like there are, like, on the internet and stuff.
yeah.
There
right.
definitely are, but where are they in like real life?
Yeah.
Though. I mean, I think it's valid to think that, from my personal experience, I think most people I meet are more concerned with the way they appear than the way they actually are. Like, if they appear smart, but they're actually dumb, they don't really care as long as their appearance is in check. And that's like a basic example, but I think that goes for a lot of smaller things too. And I do that too. I think we all, like, we're social creatures, or whatever, but I think there's a line maybe the line is different for everyone, but I feel like when you try to have a good impression while neglecting your values, then that's where maybe it gets a little bit muddy.
Yeah. Because then it's like, who is speaking,
Yeah.
between those two people of you, like, what's leading the other, what's driving the decisions.
That's crazy to think about.
Yeah.
Because I definitely feel like I've been in that. Because it's so confusing. It's so hard to listen to yourself. I feel like when there's so much shit.
Because it's kind of just like what you were raised with, maybe, or what you were brought up with, and then where you take it from there.
Yeah.
And then how you decide between those two different, like, perspectives on life, if they are ever different. Like, if you ever, I know that
if you
jump.
ever
I feel
try
like,
it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's, I feel like, the biggest step.
I feel like a lot of people, including myself, can easily be led by, like, fear. And I think that's a huge thing, like, fear that I'm not good enough to try this. I'm not good enough to, or I don't have the capacity to, like, quit my job and move somewhere else. I don't have, like, what would happen? What would I do? Where would I get my money? Blah, 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 blah. It's like the fear of not knowing, I think, is leading. It's a big leading factor of our lives. And I mean, there's probably, like, good in there, like, to listen to that sometimes, but I think people that can have the skills to, like, differentiate between, like, a logical, rational fear to have regarding something and one that you make up in your head, I feel like those people probably have tried stuff. I feel like trying is the important part here, really.
Yeah.
Even if you're bad at it, or even if it doesn't work out, or it's not what you want, at least you tried.
Yeah.
I feel like that's how you can begin, at least, to know what you want.
Yeah.
If you don't try, you can't ever figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, it's like when we always say, and we're like doing anything maybe more like creative, it's like we say like limitations create the best sort of, dare I say, well, art, but like
Yeah.
thing, you know, like limitations are like what, like almost gives it the beauty of it.
Yeah,
Because,
yeah, for sure.
you know, it's defined by these things, but it's how you work with them and how you make something out of nothing almost, in the way that like there's like a boundary there, if we're calling this like limitation, like some sort of bounding box. It's like how you interact with that and how you play with the idea of there even being a box, and then maybe that's what, you know, starts it. And maybe it doesn't have anything to do with it, but it speaks about it in other ways of like the entire piece. Like I guess if we were to say our project or whatever, how there's a fence around
Yeah,
our site,
yeah,
like maybe like it's one thing to say, okay, because there is a fence, are we interacting with this fence on both sides of it, or are we doing something on the inside that maybe creates some sort of conversation about the fence, but it actually has nothing to do with the fence physically,
yeah,
but it's creating this sort of back and forth relationship there.
yeah,
So like, I feel like that's how like life shouldn't be restrained by these like limits or like boundaries.
yeah. They're
It's
not real.
yeah, exactly.
Well, I feel like that's why I feel like philosophy is, and disclaimer, I'm not a philosophy anything. I just think it's interesting, but people that have the ability to see things differently or question things in a way that I hadn't thought before, or yeah, just don't take everything for granted or like as just what it is, and actually question it. These people were kind of super always inspiring to me. That phrase did not make sense, but they were always super inspiring to me, and I feel like I idealized, is that a word? Idolized, yes, that one. Idolize these people a lot, because I think it's pretty cool, like, to have that skill to be able to question the things around you, and to not take everything like, oh, this is what it, this is this person does that and this person does that, and it just is what it is. Instead of like, well, why does these people do that, and where does that come from, and how, you know, like everything beneath it.
Yeah.
That oftentimes I feel like is ignored, or just what it is.
Yeah.
It's just what it is not a great
It
great
is what it is. Oh.
sentence, I feel like. I'll probably say it in like 3 podcasts from now.
Yeah. No, like we all like say those things too, which
Yeah.
is like the crazy part, and like we're just agreeing to accept things as they are. Like we're kind of just giving up in that sense. Like, but I mean,
Yeah.
well, there's a difference there. It's different if you've thought about it, you've contemplated why you're doing the things you're doing, and you agree with it, versus like just blindly obeying.
Yeah.
And then saying it is what it is. Like
Oh,
like
fuck.
no, I'm a jerk because that's just who I am. Like
It's
like,
just what it is.
it's just how I am as a person. Like that's not gonna change. And it's like that's not a like there's
It's just
like,
a reason not to take accountability.
yeah.
I think I think all of this ties to, it's the netball.
Yeah.
Ties to everything we were saying. Like, this, people doing shit like that is what makes me think that people care more about impression than who they actually are.
Yeah.
Because if you cared about being a good person, you wouldn't want to just be, well, it just is what it is. You would want to question these things and actually try to do better.
Yeah.
You wouldn't just like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And I feel like I understand that it's effort. Like, it's just hard and no one knows how to like navigate anything, and I certainly don't, or whatever. But I feel like it's like a cool. It's like what we're here for. Like we have all of our lives to try and figure it out. It's like a little game.
Yeah.
And it's like if you don't work on that, then what are you doing? I
Yeah.
feel like
Yeah.
what if you don't work on the brain that you have for your entire life,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't try to understand it and whatever,
Yeah.
what are you?
Yeah.
I guess you're constantly maybe distracted or something. I don't know. I don't know.
The disclaimer. This is a super privileged thing to, like, a way of looking at it. I think like we've talked about it before, but just like
Yeah.
having like the idea of limitations. Like some people, like limitations, like you don't choose them. Like you usually you don't, like that's like kind of like the whole thing. Like, well, I mean, people do create like limits or whatever you want to call it for themselves, but I mean like in terms of
Boundaries? No.
yeah, like like specifically like for like a person, but say
Mhm.
like growing up, like where you grew up,
Yeah.
and like
Okay.
the boundaries and
I see.
limitations that you were brought up in, like you have no control over.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
then trying to say like you, well, just try this, just try that.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
there's also nuance there, because like the whole idea of like the limitations being the most, like the best, most explorative part. Is it harder or easier? Is it better or worse? And it's like all these things, like they mean so much, but there's so like they also only mean as much as their context brings too.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So that's the whole thing. I feel like it's super very privileged of me to say, because say like I feel like I've more been able to live a life that has less limitations or boundaries in
Yeah.
terms of like what I've been able to do and experience and like the opportunities I've had. But I also feel like in that same way I've been bounded from these like creative outlets that the limitations bring. Almost like, and like it's weird to say, like a lot of times I almost like crave having worse things. Like I feel like I
Huh.
want to experience like I feel like I need to go and I need to live in some like shit apartment that maybe the bathroom doesn't even work half the time. And so like I can like understand like how I can live myself like as a person without all these like superficial like things that we need. Like I feel like I almost like need to like strip myself bare bones and just figure out how to function as a person and the things that I enjoy doing, and then figure out how to build and grow and like obtain those things. Like, okay, if I do figure out I like painting, like I'm living in the middle of nowhere, maybe it's always dirty, but I figure out how I enjoy keeping things clean, and I
Mhm.
learn how to clean, and then I find out, oh, I want paints. How do I get paints? How do I make paints? How do I do this without it being some sort of standard that I'm comparing to someone else?
Yeah.
Or even just because it was given to me, that's why I like it, or because I
Yeah.
can't have it, so I want it,
Yeah.
kind of thing. And so it's really weird because I feel like
Huh.
and I feel like really guilty going to like nice places, and then I get really like upset with myself when I find myself expecting expecting something nice, and I'm like, why? That shouldn't be like the standard, because like that is not actually what is the standard for everyone. Like that's like the standard of my little my
Yeah.
box, my bounded box of a more privileged
Yeah.
life. And so like that
Experience.
standard is not the same standard as all these other levels of bounded boxes of people's lives.
Yeah.
And so I feel like there's no real way, I guess, to like, well, I don't know, I feel like that's the thing. I almost like stripping down as like becoming like a human being, and thinking, how do I determine what is good, like as myself, a soul like not in like a I am the only person, the best person kind of thing, but as a being that lives.
Yeah.
You know, and then figuring out how that relates to other people, and then how you grow from there, and having that be like the base rather than the base being like well, my daddy bought me this car, so
Yeah.
like
Yeah. I see what you mean. Like detaching yourself from the how you were brought up almost.
yeah, almost.
But it's true. It's true that there's kind of like a like what's stuck to me, I guess, was like, oh, I like painting because I couldn't do it, or I could do it, or whatever. And it's I never thought of it this way of like it's weird to think about. And yeah, I never thought of it that way, but the tension or the relationship that we have with the things that we enjoy or do in our lives are all kind of intertwined with the way that we were brought them up.
Yeah.
Brought them up? Yeah. That
the way
these
that-
things they were brought up to us
Yeah.
when we were growing up.
Mhm.
You know, like maybe I hate swimming because I nearly drowned when I was 8
Mhm.
or whatever. But maybe if I was stripped down as a human or whatever, like you were saying, maybe I'd love swimming.
Mhm. Right.
Is that where you were going? Type
Yeah.
of thing?
Yeah, I think so. But I think that's impossible to do at the same time
Yeah,
because there's
no.
no way to eliminate every single like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Outside
no.
aspect, but it's something I find myself enjoying. Well, not enjoying because it's really freaking like I
Yeah.
don't even know the word for it, but like just figuring out like how I even want to be as a person without all these other things poking in on me. Like if I could be anyone, who would I want to be? And like that's how I
Yeah.
try to drive it rather than being like, well, this person thinks I should be this, so that's why
Yeah.
I'm going to do it. And I think it's like a little extreme what I'm saying, but I think that's kind of just how my brain has to see it. Like I have to go back so far to really break down every sort of aspect and understand why I'm doing these tiny little things that don't even probably maybe relate to one thing or another, but I don't know, like disregarding them
Yeah.
to let myself see past it.
No, I don't think it's I don't know what word you use. I can't remember, but I don't think it's I feel the same way. I am the same way. Like I've had to pay attention often to what I'm thinking or whatever, or I catch myself thinking like, oh well, maybe I should do my master's and get licensed in architecture because this person and this person and this person would think I'm like it's such a prestigious,
Yeah.
respectable thing. Like that's a big example there, but
Mhm.
I do it on a smaller scale as well.
Yeah.
Where it's because it's just so easy to give in to like social pressure
Mhm.
or like social validation or approval.
Yeah.
But the paradox is I find myself being validated and approved, quote unquote,
Mhm.
by other people that I actually respect and value their approval and validation the most when I'm being authentic to myself.
Yeah.
But that's like it's so hard
Mhm.
to like because it's so easy to slip back. It's a slippery slope,
Yeah.
you know. So I feel like it's a constant work to stay on that track.
Yeah. It's like the same thing as you go to the gym and then you don't go for like 1 week because of whatever, and then you stop. You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah.
you lose all like motivation for it.
Yeah.
Or it's like, oh, I'm already this far gone. I still try to strip it away. I'm like, if I started right now, forget all of my past, and I'm
Yeah.
stripping myself down right now. These like timelines that we give ourselves for
Yeah.
things actually don't exist.
No.
Like you can reinvent yourself as many times as you want. Like you can press like reset on your life one day,
Yeah.
and then maybe in like 2 weeks. But I feel like instead of just changing for the sake of changing, like you're allowed to mess up and start again. Is
Yeah.
more where I'm getting at. Like you're allowed to like say, like be really passionate and like want to do something, and then like fall down again. But that doesn't mean you have to keep and stay out and then just totally be afraid to even try that thing again.
Yeah. I agree.
Like not seeing it as like, well, I started here and I have to get to there. So now I'm just in this limbo middle state and I'm just doing what I'm doing to get it done. You're allowed to like, if you're in the middle of some certain timeline, like, and you don't feel that it's right for you, like
Yeah.
you're allowed to like
Switch it.
literally delete that timeline
Mm-hmm.
and put a new one in. The start date is like on you right now.
Yeah.
You know, like you don't have to complete something just for the sake of completing it because you
Ugh.
feel like it's, you know.
I
just a
agree.
task.
I agree. I feel like the whole thing where you start and you, like, we see things as a start to finish
Mm-hmm.
very often, whereas like it's much more, I think, fluid and fluid than that. I think like even relationship, I hear people say things like that, like, oh, I wasted my time
Mm-hmm.
with that person or whatever. Like, a relationship is supposed to have the ending of being together, and I feel like when you start
Mm-hmm.
seeing everything like that, like everything's supposed to be about the ending,
Yeah.
it's we're dead. That's
Yeah.
the ending. Like,
Yeah.
it's the whole point is right now, is what we're
Yeah.
doing now. It's, if the relationship had made you grow and had like beautiful moments and
Mhm.
like memories you can cherish, then fucking good. Who cares about the end? Who cares? Like, it's
Mhm.
about the process. And I feel like, yeah, people are so pressed on like, and I think, this is also nuanced with like, there's also the concept of like sacrificing things and being disciplined and whatever to achieve something that you want, and that brings you fulfillment as well. So it's a nuanced, I think, very, very nuanced thing to think about. But generally speaking, I feel like seeing everything as like, okay, when I get a house, or these are like the most cliche ones, but
Yeah.
when I get a house, when I get married, when I get a baby, blah blah blah. It's like, if you fucking hated your life for fucking 15 years so that you could get those things,
Mhm.
what's the point?
Mhm.
What's the fucking point? You've wasted 15 years of your life. Your time is, what's the point?
Yeah. And then now that you have those things, because you didn't even enjoy your time getting them, you probably don't even enjoy them.
No.
You know?
Yeah. You have
I
like a
mean-
midlife crisis or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, maybe you do, and maybe that's complete, and maybe that's
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah. Which good. I mean,
Yeah.
fucking good. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's for all the people that it's not just good. You know what I
No,
mean? Like,
yeah.
they felt like they did the right thing because that's what the right thing they were supposed to do, and everyone tells them they're supposed to be happy because they did the right thing. Like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
that's not the right way for them. Like,
Yeah.
like, why is there only one way?
Yeah. No, I think everything we're saying is like so different but so the same at the same time. Like, all
Yeah.
the concepts we've kind of touched on are kind of all related to each
Yeah.
other.
Part of me likes being like super mysterious.
Yeah.
At the same time, I don't know how to do that.
Me neither. I overshare.
And that's a wrap.
Whoa.
That's a wrap. Okay. Need to pee.